Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn particle physics. Today I'm in Noether, and after we've done it, we're going to do ECU Tendon training. The ECU Tendon is here, and if you participate in the ECU Tendon training, then it's at your own risk. Emmy Noether's struggle. I'm struggling a bit with pronunciation of the name. I think it would be Amalia. Amelie would be also possible. I think it would be Amalia, actually. I don't know what I go. I'm gonna go with Emmy. Emmy was born in a small German town of Erlangen, near Nuremberg. This is the English version. Nuremberg, in 1882. So, Emmy Noether was born in Erlangen, near Nuremberg, in 1882. Despite the fact that her father, Max Noether, was a professor at the University of Erlangen, she was initially forbidden from enrolling there because of her gender. Okay, her father was a professor at the university in the town where she was born, Erlangen, but she couldn't go to that university because she wasn't male. Such discrimination dodged Noether's career, so that harmed her career. It harmed her life positions. Although she eventually gained both an undergraduate degree and a PhD. I was thinking today already about that name. About that acronym, PhD. Because this is one of these things that everyone uses the acronym. How many people do know what it means? Because I don't know it. And no, I would have to tell you what it is at this place. Because I'm going through it and I'm uply thinking, and I would have to tell you what it is, but I just don't know. I was thinking about it today, I don't know it. There were times when I knew it, so I could have remembered it, but... Okay, she eventually gained both an undergraduate degree and a PhD. No university would hire her for a permanent faculty position. Okay, she got an undergraduate degree, whatever it is, and a PhD, or whatever it stands, whatever it is. She eventually became one of the world's foremost experts in the fields of abstract algebra, algebraic topology, and the mathematics of symmetry, working at the University of Erlangen and subsequently the University of Göttingen. Okay, she was working at the University of Erlangen at the end, actually, and also at the University of Göttingen. But for a decade, she was without appointment, pay or formal title, despite the championing of her work by many of the most prominent mathematicians of the age. Okay, she wasn't getting any pay, and also no title. That means she couldn't really say what she was working with, and she wasn't getting any money for the words. That's problematic, and that also was beside of that there were people who praised her mathematical works. Recognizing her as an expert in the mathematics underlying what would become Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity in 1915, the eminent mathematicians David Hilbert and Felix Klein invited her to Göttingen, then the center of the mathematical world. Okay, we're saying that at that time the center of the mathematical world was the University of Göttingen. That must be somewhere in Germany. Okay, recognizing her as an expert in the mathematics underlying what would become Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity in 1915, David Hilbert and Felix Klein invited her to the University of Göttingen, Göttingen. Hilbert argued forcefully for her official appointment, but Noether wasn't giving even an honorary extraordinary professorship until 1922. Okay, David Hilbert spoke on her behalf and argued forcefully that she should get an official appointment at the university, but she wasn't getting it, not even a special one, like an extraordinary. So not that would be a special one, it would be just, hey, let's open a subcategory. Until 1922. In the interim, she was merely allowed to serve as a guest lecturer, unpaid, under Hilbert's name. Okay, she was coming in, basically, David Hilbert was doing a lecture, and he was saying, hey, how about I let someone else talk now during my lecture? Emmy Noether has also something to say. So she wasn't get paid, had no title, and she could also come there as a guest lecturer under the name of David Hilbert when he was holding his lectures and saying, then you can come. That's what I get from it. I'm not. This is just a review from it here. And other further information of it. By contrast, Herman Weyl, also at the University of Göttingen, in the 20s quickly achieved a prominent professorship despite being Noether's junior. Okay, he was her junior. I don't know what that means. Is he her son? Or is he one of her students? Or whatever. He is Noether's junior. And he was getting quite quickly a prominent professorship. Okay, now someone is saying something. Herman Weyl is saying now something. We're having a quote here. I was ashamed to occupy such a preferred position beside her, whom I knew to be my superior as a mathematician in many respects, he later remarked. Okay, this Herman Weyl, who was a junior of Emmy Noether, said then later on that he felt ashamed that he was getting a professor title, even though he felt that he was, I think it's inferior, but he was not superior to Emmy Noether in mathematical aspects. Sadly, Noether's life after discovering the theorem that bears her name wasn't a happy one. Okay. Okay, her theorem, that was of symmetry, something we read, something in the last parts of particle physics, was not that good. She came from a Jewish family, and on the accession of the Nazis to power in Germany in 1933, her hard-won right to teach at the University of Göttingen was revoked. So in 1933, she was again set out she wasn't allowed to go to the university anymore because she was Jewish. Probably that was most likely the reason. It's not written here the reason, but it must be that reason. She emigrated to the US and taught at Bryn Mawr College in Pennsylvania, but died of complications from cancer surgery 2 years later. Okay, 1933 she was then discriminated and wasn't allowed anymore at the University of Göttingen because she had a Jewish family. And when she went to the United States, to Pennsylvania, to the Bryn Mawr College, but there she died of cancer 2 years later. The reference that many of Noether's colleagues felt for her was only increased by her calm spirit and support for others in the face of the Nazis' oppression. The reference. I don't really know what it means or what it means, but I think that it means that she got a bit popular. Because she had a calm nature, a calm spirit, and she supported others who were oppressed by the Nazis in Germany. Weyl, whose wife was Jewish, the Herman Weyl, her junior, the one working as a junior, I don't think he was a son. But he was married to a Jewish wife. Also immigrated to the US, later wrote that Emmy Noether, her courage, her frankness, her unconcern about her own fate, her conciliatory spirit was in the midst of all the hatred and meanness, despair and sorrow surrounding us a moral solace. Maybe you're going to do the sentence in quadrology. Okay, one of the people with whom she worked together at the university in Göttingen, Herman Weyl, said he was married to a Jewish wife who had also to flee and went to the US, and he then later said about her, or wrote, Emmy Noether, her courage, her frankness, her unconcern about her own fate, her conciliatory spirit was in the midst of all the hatred and meanness, despair and sorrow surrounding us, a moral solace. Okay, I want to add here, I don't know the word, conciliatory, and also not frankness. I know, I think it was another one. But it is her seminal work that is most celebrated. As Albert Einstein wrote in the New York Times on her death, Fräulein Noether, but Einstein could speak German, so it would be Fräulein. Fräulein Noether was the most significant creative mathematical genius thus far produced since the higher education of women began. Okay, let's do it again. Fräulein Noether was the most significant creative mathematical genius thus far produced since the higher education of women began. I think he says she reached the highest possible amount of mathematical genius since it was allowed that women could get mathematical education. Others might suggest that the last 7 words of the sentence are superfluous. Again, don't know what superfluous means. Okay, we had now done Emmy Noether. We're going to do it at the one time. We're going to come back and make a presentation about Emmy Noether, or that part here. And we're going to do in quotology that quote of Herman Weyl about her, probably. So we're going to come back to Emmy Noether 2-3 times. And we're going to continue in the next part of particle physics, when again with particle physics somewhere. So if you're here for particle physics, Emmy Noether, quotology, whatever, you can go through another part, probably of particle physics, where we continue with particle physics. And we're going to come back probably quite from time to time to Emmy Noether. So if you go here for particle physics, go to repeat the next part. If you stay and participate in the ECU Tendon training, then it's at your own risk. We don't have much time left. Doing the flat flip. Having fists, and we're bringing the fists down. And again up. And again down. And up. Last time down. And now we counterfeit money check. Fists and bring them up. And again down. Up. And last time down. I'm going to use now a tennis racket. A tennis racket is light, just around 300 grams, so whatever you use, do it in accordance with our 3 rules, which are having the arm in and bringing it slowly over to one side, now to the other side, hold the lower arm. The first rule is that we stop immediately as soon as there's pain. The second rule is that we're going only as fast as we can go with a little bit of effort. And the third rule is that we're not overdoing it. We just want to strengthen the abdominals. And now with long arm out. And out of the other. I had a suspicion what superfluous means. It means that it's unnecessary to say. And what it meant is that it is not necessary to say that it is just since the beginning of the possibility for women to learn maths, but overall. Was she an incredible mathematical genius? And last time, we have changed the arms and so on. And last exercise. Just take a sock or whatever, a t-shirt, towel, press with good force onto it, neutral position in this. Aber the other side. Now, that was a shortened ECU Tendon training. But thank you very much, and next time.